Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like to join everyone in acknowledging the significant contributions of Father Jet, not only in enhancing the stature of Ateneo de Manila University, but also in promoting scientific thinking, especially in the field of climate action advocacy. Okay. My role this morning is to briefly describe the ASEP-CELLs project and discuss its possible role in supporting economic recovery in the post-pandemic world. As Dean Ron earlier mentioned, ASEP is Access to Sustainability Energy Program and then Clean Energy Living Laboratories. We gratefully acknowledge the financial support that has been provided by the European Union. The overall objective of the project, this has been mentioned several times earlier this morning, is to empower stakeholders in the process of transitioning to a sustainable low-carbon energy scenario. So the key word is transitioning, and it has been mentioned it has to be a just transition. This can be accomplished through knowledge management, which is largely based on research, and then we also have capacity building and advocacy. So these are the three main pillars of the ASEP-CELLs project. And the three areas of intervention are, you can see here, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and energy access. To ensure the sustainability and geographic reach of the project, even beyond its lifetime, we have engaged the assistance of several institutions. So the Xavier University acts as or performs the role of the Mindanao cell. The University of San Carlos performs the role of the Visayas cell. The Ateneo School of Government leads the Luzon cell with strong support from Manila Observatory and ICLEI. My colleague, after this presentation, will present an update on the activities of our partners. But meanwhile, we want to look at how the opportunities and challenges from COVID-19 pandemic can influence our research agenda. In particular, we look at the report that was published last June by the International Energy Agency. Okay. So there are several measures that were proposed and analyzed in this report. Some of them were alluded to by our speakers in the plenary session. For example, in energy generation, the IEA argues that the pandemic has shown that we can accelerate the growth of wind and solar energy. These sources were found largely immune to the disruptions caused by the lockdown. The role of energy efficiency is also important. It's shown here. So we mentioned that it's possible to include in stimulus packages retrofitting of existing buildings and also to promote greater efficiency in new constructions. The IEA estimates that these measures have very high employment effects. So in this chart, you can see that building efficiency, retrofitting buildings, and promoting efficiency in new buildings have the highest employment impact. Okay, so you look at this menu of options, their employment impact, and the government can look at various measures in order to encourage employment. Another important area is in terms of looking at the decentralized power technologies. Our stakeholders can look at how lockdown measures have put off-grid developments at risk. So in particular, some of the projects, the viability of some of these projects can be restored if they receive direct support from the government. We can look, for example, at exempting solar components from duties and value-added taxes. The IEA estimates that decentralized systems would create around 900,000 job years within the next 3 years. Given that off-grid projects or decentralized power technologies are very important for the Philippines, and given that the ASEP-CELLs project has a comparative advantage in this area, we can look, it behooves us to look deeply into this issue. So with that, I thank everyone for their kind attention. As my mother-in-law would say, Diyos tiangina.
The accomplishment of ASEP-CELLs project in the last 18 months. First is the setting up of ASEP-CELLs consortium and its institutionalization. The second is the development and establishment of project guidelines on systems and processes to adhere and meet the standards set by the Ateneo and the European Union. As you all know that this project is national in scope, and with each partner having its own unique sets of deliverables. Thus, we need efficient system to work in silos. Next is the project launch, which we introduced the project to diverse stakeholders, and that was held in Xavier University in Cagayan de Oro last October 28, 2019. The next is the strategic planning among consortium partners, which we had the chance to calibrate midway the project outputs and identify convergent points among partners, so that we can not only to maximize resources, but to widen also our reach and jointly promote and advocate renewable energy, energy access, and energy efficiency extensively across the country. Next is media visibility. ASEP-CELLs has been covered by various media outlets online, in print, and in television. And to reach the younger audience, we are also very active in social media, outlets like Facebook and Instagram. The next accomplishment is partnerships with local government units. Mindanao CELLs and ICLEI-SEAS executed a memorandum of agreement with local governments of Cagayan de Oro, Bohol, and Santa Rosa, Laguna to establish demonstration site and promote energy efficiency. Another one is the identification of demonstration sites and case study sites. Our Visayan CELL partner identified off-grid islands of Gilotongan Islands, Camotes Group of Islands as case study sites. Another one is, as part of our knowledge management deliverables, the research publication. As early as last year, ASEP-CELLs published working papers entitled Managing Energy Trilemma, Evaluation of Feed-in Tariffs and Policies, Energy Mix Optimization, and Market Failure and Political Economy Framework. And another accomplishment is the specialized course on energy policy. Luzon CELLs, in partnership with Deutsche Institut für Entwicklungspolitik, conducted a workshop on the courses for specialized energy policy track for ASoG, Masters in Public Health. I think this is the first of its kind in the country, in the sense that it would really serve the energy sector professionals. Perhaps here we can create a community of thought leaders, advocates, and champions who could help us promote transition to clean and sustainable energy. Another accomplishment is advocating clean energy in Mindanao. Mindanao CELL promoted ASEP-CELLs and clean energy concepts and technologies, as well as the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act to mechanical engineering student in One Guild Summit. This is really to raise the awareness of our youth on clean energy, and we hope that would eventually gain grounds and drive change towards adoption of resilient energy systems in the future. The next one is the conduct of local government for sustainability forum, together with the Department of Energy and ASEP-CELLs TA. If you've seen in this picture, they were attended by local government, representatives, private sector, civil society, and academia. That was held in Cebu. Another one is the solar panel for off-grid communities. ASeP-CELL installed and inaugurated solar panels and IT infrastructure for remote monitoring and metering on the rooftop solar PV systems in the island of Golotongan and Cebu, which has the capacity of 7.92 kilowatt power. Initially, as a pilot test for 11 households with electricity of 24/7. This island is inhabited by 1,875 residents belonging to 342 households. This is really very tiny because this happened shortly before the ECQ and very relevant. Imagine the community in pitch dark without such intervention, as the boats that carry the diesel supplies to feed their generators were canceled. And even up to now, as we speak, there are no boats that flies from the island to the mainland of Cebu. This is a concrete example of how provision of energy access to this vulnerable community mean, and how we can offer hopes for a new and better life for them. Likewise, it concretely as well showed the benefits of the centralized energy systems to off-grid islands, as it shielded them from sufferings during crisis. So yeah, indeed, the pandemic caused a dent in our project implementation, but I could say that we were quick enough to migrate to technology to be able to reach our partners as well as our beneficiaries. So during the lockdown, we released this first newsletter entitled Transverse. This recapitulated the milestones of CELLs project and a call for proactive response to sustainable energy. Yeah, another accomplishment is the creation of GIS maps. The Mindanao cell has created GIS map for Northern Mindanao, which they would use later on for their demonstration sites. On the works, the Manila Observatory is working on research papers about energy gaps, climate change impacts, climate commitment, competition and sector regulations overlap in the energy industry. And they are also working on roadmaps. And also the Visayan cell, they're just waiting for the ECQ to be lifted, and they will soon also install hybrid energy systems in the island of Kauhagan to support the livelihood initiatives of the communities there, as well as in Camotes Island to support the education system of the last mile schools. Last mile schools, these are the schools attended by children from the indigenous families. So I mean, it would mean a lot if we could energize schools like that, so they could access better education, also like the rest in the mainland Cebu. I think this is all for now. If you want to know more about clean energy initiatives, please visit our website or get in touch with us. That's all for now, and thank you for listening.